Alright, what's up, everybody? I'm Red Cloud Gamer, and this is the NSX Gaming Podcast Next Gen Preview Show. Joining me as my co host today is a close friend of mine. He grew up a Nintendo fan before taking a lengthy layover in PC land, where he roamed the realms of RuneScape and World of Warcraft, before rekindling his love for all things Nintendo shortly after the release of the Switch. He's the resident Nintendo fanatic here at NSX Gaming, and the only bad thing I can say about him is he has poor taste in football teams. Big shout out to my boy, the Green Sween. What's up, Sween?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, now that I got to record myself picking on your football team.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a better pick than you for the last couple of years, but I mean, I hear you.
Yeah, I knew that was flying back at me. I don't even know what to say about my team. I thought we were going to lose all the games and get Trevor Lawrence, and then we were like, hey, let's win one.
Well, you guys were competing with the Jets, and I think you lost the draft battle, so.
The terrible thing is that, legitimately, like, if we win this week and Dallas loses, we're, like, in first place in our division.
Yeah, but guess who you play tomorrow? I mean, I think you got a roadblock in the
Yeah,
way.
I think your team is terrible, too. Shut up. You know what? We're not here to talk sports.
terrible.
We're here to talk gaming.
Yeah.
All right, so what, you want to start with what we've been playing lately?
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, as a Nintendo fanatic, I've been playing the Mario 3D All-Star Collection. Primarily Sunshine, getting through Sunshine.
Of course, that's my favorite.
Yeah, mine too. So, I mean, there's some bias there. I really want to play Galaxy, though. I never got exposed to Galaxy growing up, which I know a lot of people would give me a lot of crap for that, but at the end of the day...
I feel like a lot of us didn't play Galaxy because we skipped the Wii, so I don't think anyone could really give you crap like that.
No.
No, I barely played it, and I thought it was a good game what I did play. I just didn't like the Wii very much. I didn't like the forced motion controls in all those damn games.
Yeah, that was a problem. I mean, especially at that time of gaming.
So what's the performance like on Sunshine? It plays good?
Oh, yeah, I like the 1080p improvements. It looks really, really good. I love the widescreen. I think I wish they would have put the same kind of effort they put into Sunshine into Mario 64, but beggars can't be choosers, and
I don't know if we're beggars. We bought it, so we're
I know.
We're customers. I think customers can be choosers.
True.
So I know what you mean, though. I did see the Digital Foundry breakdown on it. I bought the game. I just haven't really played it much. But I was disappointed to see that 64 is pretty much an untouched version of the 64 game. Like, they didn't even throw in widescreen support, which really surprised me. But whatever, that's Nintendo, right? They know that it's gonna sell. They didn't have to do anything special. I'm sure it's selling great. If I look up the numbers, it's probably doing better than anything else that Sony or Microsoft have right now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's pretty much all you've been playing. You're waiting on that Pokemon DLC, right?
I mean, yeah, you got Pokemon DLC coming out Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, 2 days from now.
All right, Ralphie will be harassing me about that. Oh, no, I got him the expansion pass, so he'll just have it, right? Yeah.
Right, I'm looking forward to see their new raid concept. I've heard not good things, but what we hear and what we see are two completely different things.
What do you mean you've heard not good things?
A lot of people who have quote-unquote beta tested the game, again, take it with a grain of salt because you can never take anybody's word without proof. A lot of people are kind of coming along to say that the raids for the legendaries, they sneak previewed the raids for the legendaries, and it looked like you're going to do about 5 battles before you get to the legendary, and a lot of people are complaining the difficulty is very easy.
I've had that complaint about almost everything I've played on the Switch from Nintendo. It feels like all of their games are just toned down in difficulty, and I'm perfectly fine with you turning the difficulty down because you know a lot of kids are going to play, but put in the ability for me to pick a harder difficulty. Because it really turns me off when a game is too easy.
Yeah. Mario 35 has actually been a sleeper for me. I mean, we'll talk about a fun battle royale that has just been addictive.
Yeah, I still haven't downloaded that. I gotta turn the Switch on and do that.
I feel like I've gotten better at the normal Mario platformers. I was playing, you know how they did the revises on the Super Nintendo for Super Mario 1, 2, and 3 and Lost Worlds?
Yes.
I was playing Super Mario, the original, last night at my buddy's on his Switch because I didn't have mine and he didn't have a lot of things downloaded. So I just played the Super Nintendo collection. And I sped through it in like probably, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Because you can use the warp zones and everything like that. And
Right.
I just never knew any of this before Mario 35. And it seems like I really learned a lot more of how to get through the game quicker. So.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. I gotta give it a shot. I saw a couple videos online. It looked fun to me, and I haven't really had a lot of time to game lately. You know, I get busy at work this time of year.
It's different. It's like a little bit of Mario Kart implemented in it with the random power ups and everything, collecting coins. So it's interesting. It's definitely a out there concept. I hope they find a way to extend that past March because as of now that ends in March, and I don't understand why they would do something like that. But
Yeah, their fascination with March has really left me puzzled here. But that's something we'll probably discuss when we get to our next gen preview in a couple minutes.
yeah,
So I haven't really been gaming that much lately. I've been busy for the last week or so. So I'm streaming my screen to you, right?
right.
All right. So you can see there's a little footage of Nexomon playing Nexomon Extinction. It's the kind of Pokemon clone.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm probably 3, maybe 4 hours into that now. It's fun. I mean, I grew up a Pokemon fan, so you know any type of monster hunting game like Pokemon, the early Digimon games. Like I'm gonna try them out. I'm gonna play them. It does feel kind of like the perfect version of like Emerald Sapphire generation games, I guess.
right.
It's got cute little kind of chibi style visuals. The creatures are definitely interesting designs. One of them, Bulbrit. It's literally a light bulb, and its arms are like the positive and negative wire hanging out the side. It's a clear Pokemon clone, and it doesn't hide that. And it's got a lot of self-aware humor, which I like. There's, you know, a spot. I think that actually comes up in this video if you continue watching, where one of the characters like sends you a kid into the ancient forest, and she's like, "Oh, nothing ever happens there." And then your partner character is like, "So you've never played an RPG before, huh?"
Hmm.
And I mean, that had me laughing for a solid 10 seconds. Overall,
And
it's a fun game, and I hope it brings about competition in the monster catching genre to push Pokemon forward because I really think that Pokemon has kind of grown stagnant and not tried to advance.
yeah, and I'll tell you, at a $20 price point, you know, you're really not taking too much of a reach. And it seems like I was looking at it a little bit. You know, you recommended it to me, so I figured I'd give it a check. And it looks like there's a lot of depth. It looks like they're really trying to make a brand new game. I don't feel like anything's really copied through Pokemon. I don't see any ripoffs or knockoffs from what I've seen so far. So it looks like the story has a lot of depth too. Can you tell us a little bit about the story so far of what you've seen? And
Honestly, when I play any type of game like this, I normally don't do much of the story for the first few hours. I just go around battling like crazy and leveling up my initial party. So, what I can tell you is you're a kid in an orphanage who gets selected by the Tamers Guild, which is like a group of people that, you know, battle these Nexomon. I almost called them Pokemon. Uh, and they're gonna kind of tutor you and bring you through the ranks of the guild until you reach Grandmaster, and there's only a couple of those. And then there's these newfound dragon Nexomon that are hunting certain players in the game, and it seems like you're definitely going to be one of them. So that's really as far as I've gotten story wise. Other than that, I've like leveled up most of my dudes. I have my starter is like in the mid 20s. He's already evolved once. I like the designs, I really do, and the art style is nice.
yeah, yeah, I definitely. I'm looking at this right now. I'm watching you run around on the game. And yeah, it definitely. I like the graphic style, like you said, kind of like an ultimate Ruby Sapphire kind of deal, like revised if they re-looked at it.
Yeah,
But yeah, that it's definitely something. I feel like Pokemon has kind of slacked the last couple generations
yeah,
due to
because
the
there's been
fact
no
of
competition.
right.
It's the same thing as Madden. You have no competition. You don't need to actually change anything anymore. You know, other than that, I've been playing Destiny 2. You know what? I shouldn't say I've been playing. I played a little. I was a big Destiny 2 guy when it came out. I did the first raid and all that. I was max level. I haven't played since then. And one of my buddies asked me to play the other night, so I turned it on. Dude, the load times were atrocious. Atrocious. I mean, I really want to get back into it, but I'm probably going to wait for the Series X just to get that NVMe load speed.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, at one point I think I timed it at like 2.5 minutes going into a mission, and I've seen people playing it on the Series X loading in like 10 to 15 seconds. That's a dramatic difference. And honestly, nowadays load times are something that really bother me in games. Like, there's a lot of times that I fall off a game like that, like the Division 2, because I get tired of waiting for it to load constantly. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to the next part of our podcast, where we talk about the next gen systems that we're almost going to get, right?
Right.
I mean, unless you have something else that you've played you want to talk about.
Nothing that I've played personally. I'm really looking forward to Calamity of Ganon coming out for the Switch in November.
That's the 20th, right?
Yeah, I thought that was an incredibly great shadow drop to come out of nowhere, and just, it really, really looks phenomenal. It looks like the story is going to be breathtaking for that. I mean, I'm really in it for the story, to be honest with you, but...
Yeah, Nintendo's done really well this gen with letting other companies kind of run with their, big properties. It's something they didn't really do in the past. But like, I really liked the Dynasty Warriors kind of game, Hyrule Warriors, right?
Yeah.
I recommended to you Mario and Rabbids. I thought that game was great.
Yeah. I still gotta get through that. I'm on the last chapter of that, actually.
I finished it, but I didn't go back for the DLC they added in.
I know, and Donkey Kong's my guy. You would think I'd get through that and get through that DLC, but so many games.
Yeah, good time to be a gamer.
Yeah, for real. You're not lying.
But all right, if we're past the stuff we've played, I guess we'll jump right into the little prediction part for our next gen. I mean, not really just predictions, our opinions, predictions, hopes, fears for each system. Being there's not any concrete information on it, and we're really just going off of rumors, I figure we'll start with the Switch Pro, because we're going to breeze through that kind of quick. So you're my Nintendo fanatic. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, definitely to start about my thoughts, there's a lot of people that tend to make videos of leaks that they've heard about the Switch Pro, that it's coming on this day, and I just want it to be clear that I know nothing through Nintendo or anything like that, and these are more towards my opinions on what I feel Nintendo should do and what would be their most successful route, business and fan base wise.
Before we continue on with that, like, one thing you got to say is Nintendo is phenomenal at keeping secrets. So all these people that are saying like a date that it's coming out or a date it's going to be announced, Nintendo has shown us for the last 5 years we're never going to accurately guess that, and they're not going to leak it. So that's all just someone looking for clicks.
Well, also it did feel like 2019 was more of a bigger leak year. And I think a big part of that was Game Freak really letting out the Pokemon leaks. Remember when, we got the National Dex, and probably 2-3 weeks later, we got the whole 400 Pokemon leaked. And it was so early, and we didn't even believe it because it was so early, and bang, next thing you know, that's real. That's the starters. And so maybe not a couple weeks after we found out about the game, but maybe a couple weeks. It was at least a couple months before the game came out that we knew the whole.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that there have been some leaks, but none like directly from Nintendo. Like, Game Freak isn't actually a Nintendo company. You look like the Paper Mario just got Shadow announced and then released like 2 months later.
Well, this is what I was gonna say is Corona has really affected not only everything. I don't even think game companies necessarily have 100% of a grip of what they're doing right now.
Because, yeah, no, absolutely. And that's actually the reason that some leaks have happened this year, because some of this stuff, some of the marketing stuff, is done like well in advance of when we actually see it. And then when a delay comes because of COVID, the marketing stuff was already put in place. Like right now, Microsoft has all of this Halo Infinite marketing going on with like Rockstar Energy and stuff, and Halo Infinite got delayed. That's not coming until next year.
Yeah.
But they already made deals for the, energy drinks, so it's happening regardless.
Right. Right. But anyway, the leaks this year. I can't tell you. I keep up on all of it. Even the leaks, I like to hear some things because I've seen some leaks come true. Um, Banjo and Kazooie and the Dragon Quest thing was leaked before E3. Um, or Hero, whatever his name would officially be. I think it is just Hero because you pick the character's name. But anyway, I've seen some leaks come true. Um, but this year, I've seen a lot of leaks be more false than true. Just I think because of Corona, obviously. Um,
And because
but that,
people just like to troll online.
but there are a lot of people who will just kind of get an email saying, "Hey, I saw this, that, and no evidence, and here it is." And they're very discredible leakers, and they'll make videos about it. But
Yo, if you're
even
still
so,
looking at the screen right now, it's got the Nexamon 9 starters. You can look at it real quick.
oh, look at this, Mara. Oh, okay.
That's the one I picked.
Are there 9 types in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is everyone's a different type? I'm gonna assume
Yep.
from Okay, that's cool. I like that. That's different. Not just fire, water, grass.
Yeah, and
I
I'm told that you can catch all of the starters, so it's not like you're locking yourself out of someone.
Oh my god, could you imagine you walk into Pokemon and you have 18 starters? Just you can either have Steel, Dark, Water. That would be insane.
Yeah.
Or you go into a lab, there's 50 Pokemon, even hybrids. Like,
But I cut you off there. Let's get back to Switch Pro.
yeah, let's.
What are your theories? I
So
mean, is it real? Is the Switch Pro going to happen?
I think 100%. I think there's no doubt. Nintendo themselves has came out and said they're working on a Switch to run more techy games. You know what I mean? They're trying to get higher tech to run bigger games, which
Yeah, I saw that rumors came out that they told their developers to start making their games 4K ready.
yeah.
And obviously the current Switch is not going to push a 4K game.
And I watched that Monster Hunter Direct. I watched Monster Hunter Rise, and I really look at
It
that
looked really
game.
good.
It looked like that's like a 4K kind of, the depth in the game too. I just can't see that running on a Switch with the dock we have right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that it will run on the Switch, but I too saw that, and I don't think that the Switch is going to run it like that. I think that they showed that running on better hardware, and it's going to be a lesser game when we see it on the regular Switch, and they're probably going to use that game to really push the Switch Pro, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Doesn't that game come out in March?
It comes out in March.
And the March is the anniversary of the Switch release.
Yep.
So,
and on top of that, it's when we lose our Mario 3D All Star Collection and Mario 35. So
March release of the Switch Pro is what we're thinking then.
I think so, and I think we see a direct for it in January to kick off the new year. 2 months feels appropriate. I kind of feel like that was around what we did for the Switch Lite, right?
Yeah, and the original Switch had its like big reveal early January. Like they talked about it before that, but they had a big they showed 1-2 Switch and ARMS and official release date and price and all that. That was like the first week of January, I think.
And let's face it, a lot of these PS5, Xbox Series X owners, they're gonna get this day one when this comes out in November, and then a lot of holiday sales too. Those 2 months are going to be owned by Xbox and Sony, and we know this. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think Nintendo would be smart to stay out of the direct game entirely, and I don't think we will see a direct until January. Just based on a gut feeling, again, nothing confirmed. But what I would like to see from the Switch Pro is I would like to see them continue what they've done so well with the Nintendo Switch, and that's create diversity and stick to that. Stick to the adaptability that you've made for the Switch and you've done so well. Make it so these consumers that don't care for having a new handheld system, they don't care for the borders on the screen maybe to be removed so we get a wider screen to watch our movies or videos or play our games more quality. but give us a new Pro dock that I could put my old Switch on, and I can run these, you know, beautiful AAA games like Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5. Let me get in on the GTA 5 party. You know what I mean? It
You know,
seems like
that's
it
really
seems
my
like
big thing with the Switch Pro is that we need a Pro dock. I believe that that has to happen, and it really fits with the patent they showed shortly before the Switch was revealed, where they showed like a system that would link together with other boxes to add power together. And then, of course, Foxconn, when they leaked all the Switch information back then, said that there was a powered dock that was initially in development, but Nintendo had canceled it. I feel like that would have to happen because you've got 60 something million Switch owners, and a lot of them bought their Switch in the last 18 months. They're not going to be thrilled if they find out the Switch is being replaced already, and especially if Nintendo allows third parties to start releasing games that are only Switch Pro capable.
right, and I don't think they'll do that. As long as Nintendo keeps it at third party games being Switch Pro dock exclusives, and they don't start doing their first party, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't think they would abandon the first party Switch owners. I mean, if they would, it wouldn't be early on. You know, you'd have to be probably 18 months to 2 years into the Switch Pro's life cycle so you could see how well it was adopted. You know,
But
my bigger worry is I don't know if you remember, but Hyrule Warriors. There was a whatchamacallit, a 3DS version,
yeah,
and it was a game that worked on the regular 3DS, but was clearly made with the new 3DS with the better CPU in mind, and it ran horribly on the regular 3DS. I had it here, and I was like, yo, I can't play this because we had a new 3DS here, but the kids also had regular 3DSs. And Ralphie was playing it, and he was not enjoying his experience. So I had to let him use my better 3DS because it really was barely playable. So I do worry that they might allow some games to barely run on the Switch just so they can say it's still compatible.
now, what would you say the price point for a Pro dock is for you to be happy? Not
I
even
mean,
like
it's hard to say an exact price point without knowing power. I mean, I personally think that the Switch Pro needs to bare minimum have a significantly better CPU, like 3 to 4 times better. Otherwise, it's going to lose a lot of third-party support as companies switch over to their focus on, the Series SX and PS5. It's already missing some games like GTA 5 and Red Dead and Assassin's Creed. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Switch CPU just can't run those games. It's not going to happen. I mean,
right.
they struggle on better CPUs in, old Xbox One and PS4. So I think that bare minimum it has to be like the new Nintendo 3DS with a significant CPU upgrade. I'd like CPU and GPU upgrade, and it makes sense being they supposedly told the developers to make their games 4K ready. So I'm hoping for something somewhere around the PS4 Pro level of power. And then I'd probably expect that itself to be $400. So I guess I would want a Pro dock, probably 200. Maybe 250 I would go for, but probably 200.
Yeah, I was thinking 150, 200. So I mean, that was around where I was. I mean, 200 kind of sounds like the right price, though, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, if you go too much higher than that, people that have Switches are just going to feel like you're forcing them into buying the Switch Pro instead anyway.
Right, because at 250, you're basically buying another Switch, I feel like, at
Yeah.
that rate. So,
So, I mean, if I had to make a prediction, I would say it will be announced early next year, released in the first quarter, likely March, like the Switch was, and $400. And I'll be keeping an eye out to see if it is true. Is there a Pro dock? Because I think there has to be one. Otherwise, they're alienating a lot of gamers, and I myself will be pretty upset.
yeah, no, I understand. And now that I think about it, I understand we say 200, but I mean, a dock now is only $80, right? If I'm not mistaken, just for the dock.
Yeah, I mean that sounds right. I remember that it was expensive. I never, I got all the systems that came with docks, so I never bought another one.
Yeah, me neither. That's why I don't know offhand if it's actually $80. But I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. Like GameStop, you can get a dock for $80.
Yeah, I remember
So
one of the websites like did a breakdown and showed that it was really nothing more than like a plastic casing with a USB-C to HDMI hub in it, and they were like really mad that it was essentially worth like $12 and it was being sold for almost $100.
Yeah, wow.
But that's capitalism.
Well, for the best.
You know, let me tell you people something about your Jordans.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess we can move off of the Switch Pro. There's not really that much information for it in the first place.
It's coming.
I hope so. I really do. Because I don't
Fingers
want to
crossed.
see the Switch lose support like I think it's going to if the Switch Pro doesn't come.
I mean, listen, I have a good feeling. I'm 90% sure it comes next year. I'm just more concerned that it misses what it needs to hit. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of things that could go wrong, a lot of things that can go great. It could really determine the Switch's future. So,
Well, I mean, I think at this point the Switch is going to be a success no matter what. You know, Nintendo has marketed it really well. It's already sold really well. And if they do lose third-party support, they'll just drop the price, and people will still buy it just for things like Calamity of Ganon and Breath of the Wild 2 and whatever the next Mario is. I know that we've got Super Mario 3D World coming, but I'm assuming there's a new, actual, brand new Mario game at some point too. Odyssey 2
Bowser's
type
Fury.
deal.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what that Bowser's Fury is about. All right, but we can move on anyway. I'll let you
Alright,
pick
so,
it up.
well, I guess we'll hop on to PlayStation.
Yeah.
So, the PS5 is coming, what? Today is the 21st, so we're 22 days away.
Holy God, I cannot believe that.
Yep, we are indeed just over 3 weeks away.
My.
And just under 3 weeks with the Xbox, which gets me excited. So, I guess we should start with launch lineup. I actually think Sony has a hell of a good launch lineup. Now,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes companies think that a launch lineup isn't incredibly important, and to some extent they're right. You know, like the Xbox doesn't have a very good launch lineup. It's still going to sell out. They're not going to be able to keep them in stores. And the PlayStation is a really good one, but even if you scratch a couple of these games off, it would still sell out. Hardware sells at launch. The Wii U sold out at launch. The Dreamcast sold out at launch. Systems that failed miserably sell out when they first come out because hardcore gamers want it. Now, but Sony is giving us a solid launch lineup. You know me, I only play my PlayStation for exclusives for the most part. So I guess the games that have me really excited are Miles Morales, and I know it's coming to PS4 as well. But anyone that has seen that game running on a PS5 is going to want to play it on a PS5.
Well, it seems like we're seeing that with a lot of next-gen games, is they're trying to make them compatible with the generation before as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same thing happened last gen. Most games had a PS3 and PS4 or Xbox 360 and Xbox One version with like a $10 upgrade fee. You know, it's just because you're still going to make a lot of money off the PS4 and the Xbox One versions. Like, you're going to make more money off Miles Morales on PS4 than you are on PS5. Because realistically, PS5 launches November 12th. By the end of the year, it's probably going to have, 5 to 7 million systems sold worldwide, and that doesn't compare at all to the 120 million PS4s on the planet. So, yeah, you're going to make more money making sure that it's still on PS4. I understand it. I do think it was a little bit deceptive because Microsoft caught a lot of flack for having their games be cross-gen at first. And Sony was like, yeah, well, we believe in generations. And they really, made it seem like their games wouldn't be cross-gen. And then we're like, oh, by the way, those games you're hyped for, they're cross-gen. But personally, I don't care. I'm going to buy it on the better system because I want to play it with the 4K ray tracing and I want to check out the performance mode with 60 frames per second. I think Digital Foundry did a video of the regular Spider-Man game for PS4 where they ran it through something on their computers to, make it run at 60 frames when it actually only runs at 30, just to show what it would look like. And yeah, I want to play Spider-Man like that, so I'm definitely going to get that.
Nice.
Demon Souls, I don't know if you're a Souls guy. Those games are incredibly challenging. I'm looking forward to playing it. I never finished it on PS3. I think I broke a DualShock over it, or maybe two of them. I'm going to try to control myself a little better and not throw my things when I get mad and lose at Demon Souls 10,000 times. But hopefully after those 10,000 deaths, I actually kill the boss and I beat the game. That's my plan,
Nice, yeah.
Are you a Souls guy? Do you play any of those? Dark Souls, Demon Souls?
I'm not opposed to the series. I've watched other people play them. I've heard Dark Souls is very, very difficult, from what I understand. But personally, I never owned the games. I never got around to playing them. But it, I want to say Dark Souls is on the Switch now, isn't it?
You're the Nintendo guy. I couldn't answer that.
All right, yeah, I want to say it is. I think I've scrolled upon it the eShop a couple times. Maybe it's something I have to check out and
Yeah.
give you some
Just
feedback on how I feel.
don't get mad and throw your Switch. Don't do that.
Well, and that's why I keep it on the dock. Throw the Joy Cons; they're
Well,
replaceable.
don't do that either. They'll probably drift even further.
Oh man, that's a shot. I know we got drifting problems.
Yeah. You guys drift more than a Fast and Furious movie.
That's why we got Mario Kart. We drift.
I'm also kind of excited for Sackboy's Big Adventure. I like the Little Big Planet games. They're not like the biggest games for me, but the kids always had a blast playing them and trying to create something. And
Yeah,
it looks cool.
you know what? I'm glad you said that because in all the times we talked, I haven't heard you bring out that game, and I actually forgot about it. But I thought that game visually looked stunning. Honestly, when I saw that, it just captured my eye.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got a cool art style. And I thought that Little Big Planet looked good back on PS3. And I know, like, technically we got Little Big Planet 3 re-released on PS4, but it didn't really do anything special. So this is, like, the first true next-gen Little Big Planet type game since, 3. And I don't know. I'm impressed with it visually. I know that it's not your typical Little Big Planet game. There's, a different gameplay style here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I can't wait to check it out. I don't think I'll play it as much as Spider-Man, but I will play it, and I'm sure the kids are going to check it out a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The last game from the lineup that's, I think, like, is important is Godfall, and I myself am not going to play it. I don't like melee games like that. That I wasn't a big For Honor fan, but it does have a big following online, so I want to follow it and see how successful it gets, especially as we move more and more into like an esports focused world. I want to see how people stream that, and I might have some fun watching people play it. I don't think that it's something that I would get into playing a lot myself.
No, I understand that.
So what do you got? Well, those are the ones I'm excited for.
I am definitely excited for what I saw from Ratchet and Clank. Huge fan growing up on PS2 for Ratchet and Clank. The Warp Between
Man,
Worlds.
I forget that we're a different age, and that your growing up period was PS2. I mean,
yeah, that was
throws
kind
me
of like.
off.
I would definitely say 64, GameCube, Game Boy Color and Advance. Well, probably Advance actually more towards. Those were like I'll say the prime, not the original. I definitely played Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 growing up, or yes, PS1, but PS2, GameCube, and the Game Boy Advance SP specifically are like those three consoles that I really, really remember stacking up on gaming big time.
Yeah, I mean, I played the hell out of those, but like my growing up period was like Crash Bandicoot on PS1.
Yeah, no, I mean,
just
don't get it wrong. I played it. You know what I mean? I played it, but I played it a little later in life, and I mean, I kind of would just pick it up and not know what I'm doing at that age, kind of deal.
I'm not sure that you know what you're doing at this age.
I don't. I have no clue what's going on, but I'm kind of breezing by.
Nice.
Breezing by. No, but yeah, Ratchet and Clank was
Looks great.
It looks great, and I was a big fan of it growing up, and I really would like to see series like Sly Cooper and Jack and Dexter come back to PlayStation 2. Those again, big games of the prime of PlayStation. I know they did the Medieval remaster. I know a lot of people weren't really that happy with it. I'd love to see a new Medieval game, come out. Twisted Metal. There's a lot of.
I would kill for a new Twisted Metal. Don't bring up Twisted Metal, because someone from their team is going to hear this and call on me to murder somebody, so it comes out, and it's going to happen. And then my soul is going to be damned to hell because you brought up Twisted Metal. What's the matter with you? I love that game, man. The first real battle royale.
I just don't understand where a lot of these series really went, and it's crazy because they had genre-defining characters. Even the Twisted Metal van with the clown head on it is genre-defining.
Sweet Tooth, man. And I think that Twisted Metal could do so well in this modern era of gaming where we stream games all the time. I think people would check that out.
Absolutely.
Especially with the power of next-gen systems, you wouldn't be limited to 8 or 12 players. You could probably get a solid 25 people in a match, all these different cars slaughtering each other.
I could see that becoming a competitive game in esports. I mean, honestly, I really could. With the modern, if they modernized it the right way, it could.
No, I definitely agree. But yeah, don't bring up Twisted Metal again because I've offered to murder for it. So.
Hey, not to throw off a next gen, but since we have Nexomon playing on the screen, a little quick thing I wanted to ask you about. There's an interesting concept here, where you're catching the Nexomon and it seems like you have to press a button scheme.
Oh yeah. So you pick a Nexotrap, and there are different, based on the particular Nexomon you're looking at. You can use just like Pokeballs, a normal one, a grass one, a psychic one, whatever. And then as you throw it, these, I think, 8 or 10 buttons pop up around your wrist, and you got to hit them as quick as you can. If you don't do it in the time frame, then you don't catch them at all. If you do it, then you have whatever percentage chance to catch them that you should.
I like that. Just adding unique concepts that I wouldn't even have thought of.
Yeah, I like it. I checked out Nexomon. I don't know if you know this. This is actually a mobile game, the first Nexomon. And one of the big complaints was that there seemed to be no depth to the capturing mechanic in the original. Like, you just threw one and there was a percentage chance based on, the Nexomon in particular, whether or not you were going to catch it. So now they mixed in things like the stuff you expect, like weakening the the Nexomon, or, creating a status effect will make it more likely, and then you can feed it to make it more likely, and then you can use different Nexotraps to make it more likely. Man, I really am struggling not to call them Pokemon.
It's hard.
But yeah, back to Ratchet. The only reason I didn't put that in my list is they've said that it's a launch window game, but it's not a launch game. So it's sometime in that first 3 to 6 months, and I'm definitely going to get it. I love the Ratchet series myself. I remember when it first came to PS3, I was blown away. I got that game and was like, man, the visuals on this are incredible. And then I got it on PS4, and I thought that it was like a Pixar movie. So when I saw it on PS5, I was like, yep, definitely got to play that. That's going to look great. That's going to play great. I really thought that the video they showed for that was probably the best example they had so far of the PS5's SSD. And, teleporting between worlds in a second. That's really impressive to me. I feel like maybe they should have explained it a little bit better, because knowing the hard drive tech, I got it from watching the video, but I feel like a lot of casual gamers probably didn't really understand what was happening, technologically wise. Like, they didn't really get the information they needed from just the video to tell you, yeah, this hard drive is incredible. Look at what we're able to do with it. So I'd like a little bit more tech breakdowns from some of these developers.
Oh, definitely.
Did you see the UI video? They showed the PS5 UI the other day. Actually, they showed it with Sackboy's Big Adventure.
I did not.
Yeah, so there's a video out. So I don't know, 10 minutes long or so, and they're just playing a little Sackboy, and then they keep bringing up the PlayStation Guide, and they're showing you how you can go between different features. How it's got a kind of trophy and activity tracker that some games can utilize. You can bring up the activity tracker, and it might say that you're 40% of the way complete on this particular activity, and you can launch a game directly from that. It will instantly take you into that activity, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think for the UI, my thing was it was fast. It was very fast, and that's what I want. I'm tired of turning on my Xbox or my PlayStation and waiting 30, 40 seconds before I'm even seeing the main screen. And then, like, especially the PlayStation in particular, going to the PlayStation Store is a hassle. It's an app that loads very slow, even on my PS4 Pro with an SSD in it. The Xbox Store wasn't much better. They just updated it recently to make it significantly better, so I'm hoping that on the Series X it's even better than that. But I really loved how snappy it looked. It looked like a natural evolution of the PS4 UI. It had like the like square icons for each game, and you hit the guide button, it pops up right over the game, and you can swipe through things real quick, go right back to the game in pretty much a second or two. It had a picture-in-picture feature, which kind of got me. Like, I don't know if you remember when the Xbox One launched, they were all about media functionality. Like, it's like they forgot it was a game system or something, and they were talking about TV and video chats and stuff like that. And they had this snap feature where you could snap a second app to the side of your screen, much like you do on Windows 10 now.
Yep.
And I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, that could be cool for different things. I was thinking like, oh, I could I could utilize that for, walkthroughs on games, help with certain spots I'm stuck at, whatever. But then when I got the system, I found it was something that I never really wanted to use. The only time it ever came into play for me was when I wanted a game during football. I would bring up my cable in the picture-in-picture and watch the football game on the side of the screen. And I didn't even like doing that because it would distract me from my game.
Me
so
too.
It's a thing that I think is cool that they're doing. Some people out there are going to like it. I personally don't care, though. I didn't really like it much on Xbox One in practice. Cool in theory, not really useful in practice, in my opinion. Like, they even showed that you could, like, if you were playing PlayStation, I was playing PlayStation, we could start a party, and I could share my screen to you. So while you're playing a game, you would have a picture-in-picture of the game I'm playing. And I guess that would make sense if I was trying to, like, walk you through a certain spot. But other than that, why the hell would I want some of my screen real estate while I'm playing a game to be dedicated to the game you're playing? I don't want to see the game you're playing while I'm playing a game. If I want to watch someone play a game, I'll turn on Twitch and I'll watch someone play a game. So, again, a cool feature for those that want it, but I don't think there's that many people clamoring for it. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Can't hurt to have it.
Yeah, I guess it can't hurt to have it. That's a good way to say it. You didn't see the video. That sucks. You're not really gonna have much opinions on it.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look it up at some point. We'll talk about it later. It was quick. I liked how quick it was. I can't stress enough that it was impressively fast. And everything I've heard about the Series X, same thing. The UI is very fast. There was a little controversy over the UI because everyone has to create controversy over something these days, right?
Right.
So the PS5 UI runs in native 4K, and the Series X UI currently runs at 1080p. I don't know if they're going to upgrade that and bump it to 4K. I don't know if they're going to keep it at 1080p. I don't really care. I'm going to be real with you. I don't plan on looking at the UI enough for the resolution to matter to me. If I'm remembering correctly, the One X UI is also 1080p. And it doesn't bother me. It looks fine. I think people just really wanted to say, oh, my PlayStation's better than your Xbox because it has a 4K UI.
Right.
I'm not one of those people. You know me, man. Two irrefutable facts when it comes to gaming that I've learned in my life. One, never debate a fanboy. A fanboy will not be swayed with logic and reason. They just believe irrefutably that their thing is the best thing, and you can't say anything good about its competitors or anything bad about it. So I don't debate with anyone that has those type of opinions. In gaming, in sports, in anything, The second irrefutable fact, next gen is driven by both PCs and consoles. Hardware always comes from PCs. Software development always hits next gen with consoles. That's why I get excited at the launch of the PS5 or the PS4 before that, because we see massive advantages in software development. And if anyone wants to debate that out there, look no further than the SSD. PCs have had SSDs for years, and all they have gotten you is faster loading, and significantly faster loading. I'm not going to lie. I have an SSD in my computer. I have an external SSD on my One X, and an internal SSD on my PS4 Pro. They definitely load quicker. But now that they're being built into the Series S and X and the PS5 at launch, We're seeing game engines designed for SSDs, allowing much faster movement through worlds, eliminating the loading tunnels that we have in games where you have to go down very long, pretty hallways that are really simply done geometrically, so you can just load the next area and dump the rest that was in the RAM. Like, we're going to see things change in design because consoles now have SSDs. So yes, consoles have to thank PCs for beta testing and developing hardware, and then PCs have to thank consoles for their development teams pushing that hardware forward with new software development tools. I'm going to get 1,000 dislikes in this video because I just, like, went after PC Master Race people. I shouldn't have done that. I still love it. I'm on my computer. I have a very good computer here. It's essentially, I'd say my computer is pretty much a Series X. I have a 8th Gen i7, a RTX 2080, and I did have 32 gigs of RAM, but I'm back down to 16 because the RAM I got was crap, I guess, and I had to send it back, so I had to reinstall the original RAM, but it still runs really damn good. Alright, I guess off of the UI, the back compat thing. I've been talking to you about back compat on the PlayStation and the Xbox for a while because they took two radically different approaches here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Microsoft built back compat in. You know, they said this. A lot of people don't remember this, but back when Robbie Bach and Jay Allard were like the head of Xbox 360, you know, they were talking about backwards compatibility. Someone asked them about backwards compatibility because PS3 had it and Xbox 360 at the time didn't. It ended up getting it through software emulation and whatnot. But they said that they weren't thinking about backwards compatibility. They were thinking about forwards compatibility. And they never elaborated on it. And we never heard about it again until the Xbox One got backwards compatibility through software emulation. And all of a sudden we saw that the One X can push some 360 games well beyond its initial limits, running them at native 4K and increasing frame rate and performance and whatnot. And now the Series X is built with that same principle in mind. Like, it has to work with everything that came before. And I love that approach. It's very PC-like, where your catalog of games comes with you. You don't have to be like, oh, damn, I got this new system, so I might as well just hang up all my controllers and games from the old system because those are done. Whereas Sony, honestly, I feel like they tacked their backwards compatibility on. I don't know that for a fact, but it's something that they dodged in conversation for a long time. Every time it was asked, they just kind of breezed over it. And there were very mixed messages. I remember Cerny originally saying there's going to be 100, the top 100 PS4 games will be compatible at launch, which obviously I want more than that. But I honestly thought, like, 100's not bad. Like, I can't think of more than 100 PS4 games that I would want backwards compatible. So I was like, all right, if it's the top 100, that's fine. And then Jim Ryan said, 4,000 games will be backwards compatible. But he didn't say when. He just said they will be. So I personally thought that it was going to be like, okay, it's going to be 100 at launch, and then maybe they'll add another 100 every month or 200 every month or whatever as they test them and get them running until we hit the 4,000, like they did with Xbox One. And then just a couple weeks ago, they say 99% compatible at launch, right? So, all right, cool. That sounds great. Again, I've told you before, I'm not a big back compat guy. I don't think that it's a necessary feature for a console's launch. I like it, but like on my Xbox One, I mean, I played a little Skate, and I played through the Gears games. That's really all I did with back compat. So I don't buy a system for it. I like to have it, but I'm not going to purchase a system or not purchase a system because of it.
Well, it's the convenience, honestly. I think that's the thing now is, like, nobody wants to hook up their Xbox 360 to play an Xbox 360 game, but they might want to dive back into it just in the future. You know, I've definitely...
Yeah, well, it also gives you the ability to trade your system in to get the newer system. You know, if you can bring all of your games with you, you can go to GameStop and trade in your PS4 and get whatever. I think for a PS4 Pro, they're giving $200 if it's towards a PS5, which is solid. I mean, if you're getting the digital PS5, that's half of your system. You know?
Yeah.
So I do see why it exists. I like it. I like the feature. I'm never gonna knock it. I don't think that it's a be all end all. Like, if I was about to buy the Xbox and they were like, "Hey, we were wrong. It's not backwards compatible," I wouldn't be like, "Well, screw this. I'm not getting that thing." No, I'd buy new systems to play new games. That's the plan.
Right.
But the thing that got me, if you can still see my screen, I brought up the official Sony webpage on backward compatibility.
I'm looking at it.
Now, look, these are disclaimers that they have, and these could just be, like, just-in-case disclaimers, just like, hey, we got to cover our ass in case something doesn't work, even though we're pretty confident it's going to. But I don't see the same disclaimers from Microsoft, so I'm feeling like this is a different situation. And as I look at these, the second thing, well, the first thing says some PS4 games will benefit from the PS5 console's game boost, which will make them run better, and that's cool. As a comparison, the Xbox does that to every game. Every single Xbox One game, 360 game, original Xbox game that works on your Xbox One is going to look and run better, or look and run at its maximum performance on the Series S or X. So, knowing that PlayStation's going to have some of them, I don't know. I'd like a list. I'd really like a list of which games are going to get these benefits. You know, if it's The Last of Us 2, I promise I'm playing through that game again. I'll Twitch it too. Like, whatever.
I don't blame you.
The second one. Although many PS4 games are playable on PS5 consoles, some functionalities that were available on PS4 console may not be available on PS5 consoles. In addition, some PS4 games may exhibit errors or unexpected behavior when played on PS5 consoles. I need further elaboration on this. Like, is this just a disclaimer where you think everything's going to work, but this is covering your behind if it doesn't? Or are there certain games that are going to have modes that don't work, maybe online functionality that doesn't work? There's so many things going off in my head that could be a problem here that I need the answer on. But the next one is the one that caught me, man. It says, before purchasing add-ons to play with your PS4 games on PS5 consoles, please try to boot and play your PS4 games on your PS5 console to see if you are happy with the play experience. What do you mean, try to boot? You're telling me that it's 99% compatible. Are you telling me that games beyond this list of like 10 or whatever down here that don't work might not boot at all? Did you not test all of these? You're a massive company. You don't have people, just running a little bit of each game, just making sure it boots up, it plays, there's no, graphical or audio hitches or whatnot in the first 10, 15 minutes. Like, did you just create a broad emulator and not test it? Because I know if you give me an emulator on PC, there's normally a web page that's going to show you a list of all the games that work, the games that work okay, and the games that don't work at all. I feel like if this is the case, Sony needs to give me that information. I need to know which games are going to give me trouble.
No, that's definitely understandable.
Oh.
And something I want to say, a little unrelated, but now that you brought up The Last of Us 2, I would like to give my opinion on something that is probably an unliked opinion. But I'm going to say it.
Oh, he's going to talk about my game.
I am. I think The Last of Us 2, with the scene with Joel...
Oh, man, don't do this to me.
...is one of the most creative out-the-box decisions ever made in gaming. I understand it's controversial, but that's the kind of move you have to make the story really, driven. I mean, you got to give them credit where it's due. Not many games are willing to make that critical of a decision on their second game, and they did, and I respect them for it.
I agree. I absolutely loved it. I say,
protested the game over this.
I tell you, they say that. People say they protested the game. It's still sold like crazy. It's like people that said they weren't going to buy Pokemon because of the national decks. It's still the best-selling Pokemon game. So stop with the fake protest and telling people online, I'm not going to buy it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You did. It's that simple. All right.
I just wanted to get that out there, though.
I don't think that I have the right to tell a developer what they're supposed to do with their property. I'm going to play it, and if it's a good decision, then I'm going to like it. And if it's a bad decision, then I'm not. I'm still not going to crap on a developer like, oh, you did this thing that I don't like with the characters that I really like. They're not my characters. They're yours. Like, if I'm writing a story, you're not going to come in and look at my story and be like, no, change the ending, do it like this. Because I'm going to be like, dude, get out of my face.
Now, would I be happy if the next Mario game starts with, Luigi getting stomped out by Bowser and that's just the end of Luigi's legacy? Probably not. But they've already built
that doesn't really fit. That's such a poor comparison, man. Of course the Nintendo guy brought that up. If you start a Nintendo game stomping out one of the iconic Nintendo characters, man, Dude,
Bowser got Luigi finally. At least he couldn't get Mario, but he
this
did
is
get
not a
Luigi.
Seth MacFarlane Nintendo game. What's going on?
Mario gets a stepbrother. That's the Mario Odyssey 2, his stepbrother.
Oh my God, I'm picturing, John C. Riley and
I thought you were gonna say
whatchamacallit
John
on Step
Cena.
Brothers.
Will
No, I can
Ferrell.
see Will Ferrell. I can see the Step Brothers cover with Mario and Wreck It
His
Ralph.
fake brother. His fake brother. Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. Or no, you know what? Stuart Little, since he's so gullible and thinks a human being is his brother and his parents and everything like that.
That's terrible. You're terrible.
Mario and Stuart Little. Stuart Little's the new Luigi. Stuart Luigi.
You're a terrible person for bringing this up. I just want you to know that.
Mario and Stuart
All right.
Luigi take down the Koopa King.
All right,
That's the
we
next
we
game.
got to cut you off the drinks, man, because you're going crazy. Let's
Not
switch it
yet.
up over to my forte, my personal favorite. The
We're
Xbox.
going into the Fort of J.
We're going to the Xbox. So I mean I've talked to you about the Xbox Series S and X so many times. I mean I was talking to you about them before they were named, before we even knew that the S was real.
Yeah, you kept up on it big time.
I guess I should start with the launch lineup, like I did with the PlayStation. The first thing I have to say is there isn't a good launch lineup. All right, the Xbox 360 had a much better launch lineup. The Xbox One had a better launch lineup. It's clear that Microsoft had planned on Halo being the big title, and then they delayed it. And there was a lot of like weirdness around that delay because they showed it back at that show. I think it was in July. Then they showed it like they opened on it. They were kind of hyping it up on Twitter beforehand, like it was going to be the big thing. And then they showed it, and no one liked it. I mean, I don't want to say no one, but a lot of people didn't. I liked it. I thought that the gameplay looked great. The graphics were less than what I expected from a 12 teraflop machine, but let's be real. People can say all this crap about, oh, last-gen consoles aren't going to hold back next-gen consoles. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're not going to hold them back graphically because computers have absurdly low lows and absurdly high highs. But CPU calculations are not as scalable as graphics. A game that's designed for Xbox One is not going to take full advantage of the Zen 2 CPU in Xbox Series S or X. That's just true. I mean, I can't say anything more than that. But I thought like they were going with like a kind of open world Halo. Like it sounded cool and it looked very much like Halo from the original Xbox that I played 19 years ago. Oh my god, I'm old.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah, but it gave me those vibes and like the cover very much threw back to that. So it's clear that that's what they wanted. Halo was going to be the big thing, like it was for the original Xbox, to carry them through. I think this would have been the first time that Xbox launched with Halo since the original, right? Because 360 didn't get Halo 3 till the next year. Xbox One, yeah, no, I don't think there was a Halo at launch for anything except the original Xbox.
Yeah, I could tell you a little story, just a little brief story to throw in here real quick. When Halo 5 Guardians came out, I remember that was after the Xbox release. I was actually working at GameStop at that time, and my manager, he was such a cool guy. He ended up giving me the Master Chief controller, not the Spartan Lock. You know which one I'm talking about, like
Right.
the gray.
Yes.
And then he gave me a copy of Halo 5 Guardians for free for working the midnight release that night.
Well, that's pretty dope. I mean,
GameStop
GameStop actually, like, I'll tell you, I crap on GameStop a lot because a lot of their practices have annoyed me. Some of the things they've done, like forcing people to try to shove pre-orders down your throat. And the thing they did with, what was it? Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. That was absurd. But they do, like, a good friend of mine is a manager at GameStop. He's been there, God, I'd have to ask him, but it's been a long time now. I mean, he was there at the launch of this, last generation of consoles. I remember, like, GameStop gave, like, almost every employee they had an Xbox One. Like, at launch, they all got a day one Xbox One.
Yeah.
And I guess it was, like, a move to make sure that they understood the Xbox One and they could better explain it. But, like, I mean, you're working there and you're probably not making the best money in the world. I don't assume that GameStop is a very high-paying job at the low end, So getting like a bonus of an Xbox One at launch, that's pretty damn cool. So I got to
Yeah.
give them props when I got to give them props. I don't like some of their business practices, but some of the stuff they've done is pretty cool.
Well, I feel like they've done a lot better over the last couple of years too. I mean, they actually got me back on my pro membership in March when I got my Animal Crossing Switch. So that's where I got it. I got it at GameStop at the mall. I waited from 6 in the morning until 8, and I got it at GameStop. The last copy they had, nonetheless. Um, but I remember they told me your pro membership, it's $20 for the year now, but every month you get a $5 off coupon.
Oh, well, that's a steal. Who wouldn't do that?
Right, and well, that's what I'm saying. And like, I'll go in there sometimes. I'll see a pair of Nintendo socks, $4 on clearance. I don't even spend a dime, and I just use my coupon. I'm good. It's like really free merchandise, and it's $20 for the year. I mean, I can't really, So they've made some good moves. Also, I don't know if you know this, Reggie. Do you remember Reggie from Nintendo of America?
Who doesn't remember Reggie?
Reggie. Well, he actually works with GameStop now.
I didn't know that.
No, yeah, he left Nintendo and then he ended up working with GameStop. So hopefully, I would like to see GameStop get back to being like a real video game store. And
Well, GameStop just made a pretty big deal that has some people excited and some worried with Microsoft, where Microsoft kind of bought into the company, and they're gonna
well, your
like.
company loves buying into companies lately, huh?
uh, well, I guess the deal like really benefits both of them. It gives Microsoft a clear distributor at the retail level that's going to be able to inform people about Xbox a lot better. But supposedly, GameStop is going to make like lifetime revenue off every Xbox customer they bring in. So as we move into this primarily digital marketplace that we're headed for, we're going to see GameStop be able to make money off of that, which was a big worry as we moved away from physical media, that stores like GameStop might struggle to deal with that. So it's nice to see that, there's some way that they're going to compensate, and I expect to see Microsoft reach out and make similar deals with companies overseas, because if I remember correctly, GameStop is only here. I don't think GameStop is in any other countries like that. So
I wanna say you're right.
Back to the Xbox.
Right.
It doesn't really have a first party launch lineup. It does have Gears Tactics, but I have that. I beat that on my computer. It's a really good game, and I'm excited for anyone that hasn't played it that gets to play it. If you're into that, turn-based tactical, like XCOM style gameplay, because that's really what it is, and it's set in the Gears universe, and it's got really incredible visuals. That new engine they use for Gears is really, really impressive. I don't know. It's a good game to have, but like again, me personally, I already have the game. The big thing that I can't stress for people enough is that if you already have Game Pass, you don't got to buy it. That game's just going to be there. Or if you get a system and you grab Game Pass real quick, you're going to have Gears Tactics along with all of the other first-party Microsoft games that will be there, even though they seem to just be upgrades of existing games, like Forza Horizon 4. I can't wait to see that upgrade because that runs buttery smooth on my computer. And the Gears 5 upgrade we recently saw, that thing looks incredible. I don't know if have you seen Gears 5 yet?
Yeah.
They showed Gears 5 running on a Series X to show like how good it runs. They compared it to an RTX 3090, which I think is dumb because it's not built to take advantage of the RTX 3090. A 2080 can pretty much max that game out. So just saying, hey, it's better than a 3090, you're lying, Microsoft. That's misleading. If that game was built to take advantage of a 3090, it would not look better on the Series X. But it does actually look better than PC Ultra right now. They showed what looked to be ray traced reflections. It does run at 120 frames, or it has 120 frames mode. They haven't really detailed all of that. It's a big step up from the One X. A big step. So that's got me excited. Outside of Gears, I guess Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I'm very excited for. I recently played through Origins. I am running out of time to try to play through Odyssey before I get my hands on Valhalla, but I got to start it soon. I love the Assassin's Creed games, and I love how they reinvented them with Origins, and seeing Valhalla running on next-gen hardware. Granted, there hasn't been any confirmation that the videos they showed were actually running on an Xbox or PlayStation, so I assume that's actually the PC version. but knowing that these systems are like RTX 2070 and 2080 hardware, I can assume a certain level of performance. So yeah, I'm excited to see that game in my house on my OLED, running on my Series X. I believe we discussed the NBA 2K graphics trailer they showed. You know me, I'm not a big NBA 2K guy. I'm not a big NBA guy in general.
But you are a big graphics guy, the biggest I know.
I am a graphics whore. That's true. And I mean, look, I bought NBA. Well, I had bought for me NBA 2K on the Dreamcast, 2K1. I bought 2K6 on the 360, 2K14 on the PS4. I'm gonna buy 2K21. I always get NBA 2K when a new system comes out because I love seeing how much more advanced sports titles get. Also, it looks as though Madden's not actually coming to new systems until next year's Madden, from everything I've seen. So this is gonna be my only chance to see it. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking. I thought it was because they briefly showed it at the May event for Xbox with Patrick Mahomes. And now I'm looking at like the launch lineup of what Microsoft says is going to be available, what Sony says is going to be available, and Madden's not on the list. So all I can assume is they decided not to release this version, and we're just going to have to wait till next year, which is a huge deal to me. A, because like I said, I love sports games at the start of a generation. B, because I always buy Madden, and I want to see Madden on new systems, man. I remember when EA did like a commercial for Madden on I can't remember if it was, I think it was 360. They showed the commercial for, and it was like actually it looked way better than what the final game did. But they showed it like on it was Eagles Giants. They showed like McNabb and Strahan in the snow, and it looked. I think it looked better than what we've gotten on Xbox One so far, if I remember right. You know, that might be like some nostalgia goggles, but.
Nostalgia, good old nostalgia. It always hits us somewhere.
I don't see it on any list for something that's coming, and it upsets me. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they just suddenly pop up today and say, "Hey, here's what Madden looks like on your new system," and I'll be thrilled. But right now, that's my understanding. Other than that, you know me. My Xbox is my primary system. So with the PlayStation, I went just exclusives. With the Xbox, I'm of course going to play the exclusives. I'm going to check out upgrades to like Sea of Thieves and Grounded. I've been playing a little Grounded. You know, I tried to get you onto that. We'll have to force you to play soon. But it's really going to be like Valhalla, 2K, Dirt 5 with its 120 frames mode. That looks really cool. I know the visuals didn't blow me away, but again, it's a cross-gen game, so I didn't expect them to look like, you know, a purpose-built Forza or Gran Turismo for new hardware. And, I don't know, the big thing for me is Duty. You know, I know it comes out a couple days after. Like, I think it's 3 days after the Xbox, 2 days after the PlayStation, or 1 day after the PlayStation. But you know me, I'm a Black Ops guy. I love the Zombies mode. I can't wait to see what Zombies is like. I can't wait to see what advancements it gets. I know I played Black Ops 4 Zombies on my 1X with, you know, Sean and Matt. And we played together after I put Black Ops on my external SSD. And with just an external SSD, which is obviously limited by the USB speed, I would load into a match of zombies on the 9 map. I would finish round 1 before they got into the game. So I can't wait to see how it's going to be on this NVMe. Beyond game... what?
So, you know, something I wanted to touch up on real quick as like an outside Xbox fan. Because, I mean, we've talked about this. You know, next gen, I'm not going to be getting the Xbox or PlayStation day one. You know, me and you, we both know we work.
There's other ways to say you're a loser. Stick with the I'm an Eagles fan thing.
Yeah. But no, but you know, all jokes aside, we're both grown men that work full-time jobs, and we have to provide for ourselves in the world. So, you know, gaming compared to when we were kids, you know, we don't have as much time as we'd like to do it. And
True.
and I mean, let's face it, you own every console. I mean, you own a Switch, you own a PlayStation, you own an Xbox. It's hard to get you to turn on your Switch sometimes when I want to. You know what I mean? Because you barely even have time to play the console that you prefer. And I truly don't believe there's any console better than the other. I just think there's consoles better suited for individuals.
Yeah, no, each one excels at something. Sony's great at the single-player narrative. Nintendo makes the funnest games in the world. No one's going to argue that. You know,
Right.
and Microsoft excels at that online competitive focused gaming.
And you know what? And that's how I was as a gamer. And I think that's the thing that really got me back over to the Switch was I kind of got tired of the competitive gaming. Personally, I felt like it got me a little stressed out. And
Yeah, I remember you in Fortnite.
yeah, and and you know what I mean. And it just kind of caused some tension. And I feel like I got a little biased when I got on competitive games. Now, and Nintendo, I just feel like I've gotten into some new series. I've looked back on some old series. I've really expanded my knowledge on gaming as a whole. Even I feel like I keep up more on PlayStation now, and I keep up just as much on Xbox as I did. So I mean, everybody has something that they're going to love. Personally, I love Nintendo's diversity. I love the fact that I can take my two Joy Cons and I can get somebody to play Mario Party with me like it's no problem.
Oh, definitely. When they first showed that initial trailer that did that, I was like, that's going to be huge. To just be able to share. I mean, because to me, that's a big aspect of gaming, is shareability. It's I've told you for a long time. Tony Hawk 2 is my like best game of all time. My favorite game is A Link to the Past. Best game of all time. Tony Hawk 2. Best gaming experience. The Last of Us 1 and 2. You know, but the reason I put Tony Hawk up there, like, it doesn't have a story. It doesn't have like things that you might think that the best game of all time has to have. But for me, gaming in a nutshell is supposed to be fun, supposed to be addictive, simple yet deep, and shareable. And that, to me, that's Tony Hawk. These 2 minute
Yeah.
runs where I can play and I can, even if I'm not good, I can have a nice, fun 2 minute run, pass the controller to you. You have a nice, fun 2 minute run, you pass it back to me. And if I am good, I'm going to put up, millions of points, and you're going to put up millions of points, and we're going to go back and forth trying to do all these challenges and whatnot. So the idea that you have built-in multiplayer with the Switch without buying a second controller, that was huge for me right off the rip.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
And for as far as the getting a next gen system, I do expect that I'll convince you to get an Xbox relatively
Well,
quickly, simply because Microsoft decided to drop a Series S.
well, and that's what I was gonna say. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. This whole next gen competition, I've really been on the PlayStation side of things, to be 100% honest with you. Up until there was two critical moves I feel like Microsoft made that really sold me, and one of those was
Price?
indeed the $300 price point of the Series S for somebody who's going to be more casually on Xbox like me, or even
Absolutely.
just even a casual gamer in general, or even for the kids at the how people are going to buy that for their families. I mean, it's at $300 price point. You're looking at a Switch right now
And it's
for
still,
next gen gaming.
and when you compare it to the Switch, when because you're talking about game consoles, regardless of portable, not portable, you're talking about $300 game systems, and the Series S has a CPU that's roughly 5.5 times better than the Switch. It has twice the amount of RAM, but the Switch RAM is like 25 gigabit a second, and the Series S is 224. So it's twice the amount at like 9 times the speed. And
Well,
its graphics
nonetheless,
card is, in raw metrics. I mean, it's kind of hard to compare the different architectures, but in raw performance, teraflops. I hate that term, but in raw teraflops, it's 4 times better. So the same price, you're talking about a system that is, you know, 5, 9, and 4 times better at its main components.
yeah.
They did something impressive with that Series S.
No, seriously. And then on top of that, how about putting $7.5 billion on Bethesda?
Bethesda,
I, I mean,
such a big deal.
for me to think that Elder Scrolls 6 might be an Xbox exclusive.
And
I,
I see a lot of people
I,
online going, "Oh no, they need to release their games on PlayStation to make their money back." Well, Phil Spencer was asked the other day, like, "What do you say to those people?" And he said, "I don't need to release it on any platform except the ones we support."
you just paid $7.5 billion. I mean,
You know,
and with that being said, you give Bethesda, a company who I feel like has kind of struggled the last couple of years. Me and you talked during E3 2019. That presentation was something, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah.
geez, a lot of unnecessary clapping and chanting. I feel like
I
you
think
could
a
pay
lot
me.
of clapping and chanting that was played through the speakers.
I feel like they paid guys like me and you to just go there and be like, hey, here's $1,000. Go, cheer for this. We're adding human NPCs to Fallout 76. Thank you. Like I can still hear that echo in my head from that E3 a year later. It's sad. Um, but human NPCs. We should have had that, but
Yeah.
I'm
No, I
not.
do think like them buying them, having the Microsoft money behind Bethesda is a big deal.
Huge. I
And
mean,
you
can
know,
you
my thing,
imagine what
I
they
think
can
people
push?
would be right. People saying, "Oh, they have to release their stuff on PlayStation." That would be 100% correct if this was 10 years ago and it was like when they bought Minecraft. When they bought Minecraft, it was $4 billion for Mojang, who really only made Minecraft. So let's be real, they spent $4 billion on Minecraft. And they released Minecraft everywhere for two reasons. One, it already was everywhere. People would have gotten pissed if you were just like, yeah, it's not coming to PlayStation no more. But two, it was $4 billion. They had to make their money back. And that's what people are thinking today. The thing is, Microsoft's moving into a cloud front. They're
Yeah.
going to recoup their money off Game Pass. If you look at the actual numbers on how well xCloud, I know they're not calling it xCloud anymore, but I'm going to call it xCloud to the day I die. I don't care what Microsoft says. It's a way
Are they
cooler
calling
name.
it something different?
It's just like Xbox Game Pass game streaming. Like, stop.
Oh
It's
yeah,
called xCloud, guys.
it's XCloud. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
go back, please.
But the numbers of how successful it's turning up in like Korea right now, and you have to understand that overseas consoles don't sell well. Korea, India, China, the console market doesn't exist. Even in Japan, where consoles became a big thing 25 years ago, that market's plummeted. Like the PS4, I think has 100 and just shy of 120 million systems sold worldwide, and it's got like 8 or 9 million in Japan. Game consoles do not sell overseas anymore. They've moved to a mobile focused universe. And if you can reach those mobile gamers through cloud gaming, you're going from normally somewhere between 220 to 250 million console gamers. That's what typically exists in every generation, right? It fluctuates a little bit based on how many people are buying multiple systems. It's kind of hard to exactly narrow down, because you can't just say, oh, well, there's 120 million PlayStations, 60 million Switches, 50 million Xboxes. Add those together, that's how many gamers there are. No, because there's people like me that own all of them, and there's people that own two of them, you know? But typically the number's around 220 to 250 million console gamers. When you reach 3 billion mobile users, no, you
Yeah.
don't need PlayStation. You don't need to sell a single game on PlayStation. Because when you have 3 billion mobile gamers playing your game, and you're talking about, look, if you release the Elder Scrolls, let's just say you release the Elder Scrolls 6 on PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 5, as an example, sells 150 million units. It matches the PS2. I'm gonna go crazy and just say it does it. Okay, so if 10% of PS5 gamers bought that, you sold 15 million copies of a game. That's a pretty impressive number. That's absolutely impressive. But if you distribute that game online, either through subscription on xCloud or actually selling on xCloud, which they don't actually do yet, but I think at some point they will make your purchases available like that. If you have 3 billion users and you can get 10% of them to buy your game, that's double the number of people that bought PS2s. So no, Microsoft doesn't need to release anything on PlayStation. Not at all. Because that's not the market they're in anymore. They're trying to win a cloud war. They're fighting a battle against Amazon, against Tencent, against Google. And all these people that are, really console fanboy fanatics that are like, oh, PlayStation's better, Xbox is better, Switch is better. Keep in mind that PlayStation and Nintendo have signed on to use Microsoft's cloud architecture because they're joining Microsoft in this battle for the cloud. They don't want outsiders like Amazon and Google and Tencent coming in. 20 years ago, they didn't want the outsider of Microsoft coming in, but Microsoft stuck it out. They did everything they had to succeed, and they've, made it last. It's been 19 years now. We're coming up on the 19-year anniversary of the original Xbox, and now they're essentially joining forces in the cloud race. I'm not saying that the consoles are suddenly going to merge, but in the cloud race, they're saying, hey, let's work together to beat these outsiders that are trying to come in and take over our world.
Unlikely allies. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
And I'm going to tell you the truth. That's the reason that Microsoft bought Bethesda. Microsoft did not buy Bethesda because of Sony. They don't need to spend $7.5 billion to compete with Sony. What happened there was Sony tried to get Starfield exclusive for 6 or 12 months. Bethesda, having a good working relationship with Microsoft, said, okay, but we have to give them an opportunity to counter it. They went to Microsoft, said, hey, do you want to counter this? Microsoft said, hey, we'll buy your entire frickin' company. How's that sound? The counter wasn't against Sony, though. It was just a smart move because they realized, Joe, if Bethesda is in the market for a partner at all, Amazon, who's a trillion-dollar corporation, Tencent, who's blown up in the last 10 years, Google, who's massive and all trying to enter the cloud market, all of them would gladly say, you know what, $7.5 billion, I'll give you that so I can get Skyrim, which is one of the most successful games of all time, Doom, Prey. Dude, I'm drawing a blank on how many games they have, but there's so many more. The Evil Within. I mean, they became like, by buying Bethesda, they became the biggest first-party publisher in gaming right now. And that move really was solely to counter the cloud, not to counter Sony. Yes, it benefits them in a battle against Sony in the console space, but that's not what it's for. And it's also why Sony bought Insomniac. You know, why did you spend money on a company that pretty much works exclusively for you anyway? Because you didn't want someone else to do it. You didn't want Amazon to say, hey, Insomniac belongs to us now. You know? So I gotta wrap this up because I'm getting ready to go to work again. But I would leave with as this cloud battle heats up, expect to see more absurd purchases. Expect to see Sony, Microsoft, even Nintendo making some purchases you never thought they would have made, because you are going to see Amazon and Google and Tencent making these same purchases. But I guess last thing with the Xbox, yeah, that massive system, it's growing on me, bro. I think it looks awesome. I can't wait to have it sitting next to my TV. You know, they say it's like 12 inches tall, 6x6, somehow still smaller than the PlayStation that it's better than, by the way, guys. So I'm getting so many dislikes on that if people actually watch this. But
people, they're coming. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, did you hear any of my audio for the last couple seconds?
No, you cut out.
Yeah, I did have an audio cut out. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't try to call upon me.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I just babbled, so I covered for you. There you go.
Good. Hey, I needed you.
All right, I do gotta hop off and head to work, otherwise I'm gonna be late. So I'll post this when I get home tonight. I'm gonna save it right now so we don't lose it like the last one.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
All right, Red Cloud Gamer and the Green Sween signing off. See you guys next time.
Take